Kia ora, and welcome back to work. Keeping you and your loved ones safe is our greatest focus. In this video, we'll go back to basics to explain some of the changes we've made to help keep you safe as we return to work after the COVID-19 lockdown. You may notice that some things have changed in how we work together. Let's look at what's changed, and afterwards, your manager will be available to answer any of your questions. Before we begin, let's understand why we have put new special measures in place. This year, a new influenza has caused a global pandemic. COVID-19 is a virus, and like any virus, it can easily spread from one person to another and from surface to surface. It is especially dangerous to those who have underlying health conditions, so it's important that we work together and play our part in stopping the spread. How can we stop the spread of the virus and keep everyone safe? Maintaining a physical distance from others is one of the most effective ways to slow the spread of the virus. That's why we've been in lockdown and why it's important to keep working from home if you can do so. Check in with your manager to understand what's appropriate for your role. Remember, if you're working from home, do your best to keep active and check in daily with your manager and team. Our working from home guide has plenty of handy tips to help you out. If you are returning to work, we have a simple 4-step guide to help you prepare for your return. 1. What you need to do before arriving at work. 2. How to enter your office or site. 3. Changes to the way we work. And 4. Leaving site to go home to your bubble. I'll pass it over to Derek to take you through each step.
Thanks, Ray. What you need to do before arriving at work. To help keep everybody safe, we all have a role to play. If you are feeling unwell, don't come to work. If you have a fever, shortness of breath, or a dry cough, make sure you call Healthline on 0800 358 5453 and notify your manager. Each office and work site must have a detailed plan showing you how exactly we will keep you safe whilst at work. Your manager will share this with you before you begin work. This will also provide details on any additional PPE that you may require. There are some golden rules we can use to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in our workplaces. Remember to keep a 2-meter physical distance from each other, follow good hygiene practices, and register where you are working and who you have come into contact with. Your manager will also need to understand how you are travelling to work, and there are some important things you can do on your way to and from work to help keep you and your loved ones safe within your bubble. Employers are required to have an understanding of how workers will travel to and from site. Workers are to travel to the site, one person per vehicle where possible. A log is to be kept to record who has arrived on site, how they have travelled, and who they have travelled with for contact tracing purposes. Workers must travel home in the same vehicle as they arrived in. Hand washing protocols are to be observed before entering sites. Allowing for spaces between passengers. Hygienic washing of hands before and after the journey. Follow vehicle cleaning procedures as per the cleaning guide, and restricting equipment and baggage to trailers and/or separate parts of the vehicle. Keeping our physical distance at work. You will need to keep a physical distance from your workmates at all times, and the 2-meter gold standard is what we are aiming for. It is important to remember this applies whether you are working, having a break, in a meeting, or just chatting with a friend. So what does 2 meters look like? A good guide is to stretch your arms out with your teammate and leave a gap the length of your arm's reach between you. This is the safe distance you will need to maintain whilst working under level 3 restrictions. If your work requires you to be within 2 meters of another person, you will need special permission from your manager. Working within 2 meters of somebody will require you to wear a mask, and follow a safe work method statement. It is important to minimize the amount of time that you spend working in close proximity of somebody else, so your work practices or techniques may now change. If you think that you need to work within 2 meters of somebody, chat to your manager. You and your team will now form your own work bubbles, and it is important to stay within your bubbles. Some employees may need to move between different work bubbles, and your manager will let you know who these people are. Good hygiene practices. To stop the spread of the virus and to keep you and your loved ones safe, it is important to wash your hands often. At work, we will now have more hand washing stations and hand sanitizer available. A good hand wash takes 20 seconds, and use a disposable towel to dry them afterwards. You will be required to wash your hands or use hand sanitizer on entry to any downer site during alert level 3 or level 4. This will be clearly stated at your depot or site entrance. Make sure you also clean down your tools, vehicles and workstations, as well as your hands. We are ordering additional hygiene-related PPE to ensure we are all well prepared, and this process is being managed centrally through our national procurement team. Hand washing. Wet your hands under clean running water, use warm water if available. Put soap on your hands and wash for 20 seconds, liquid soap is best. Rub on both sides of both hands and in between fingers and thumbs. Round and round, both hands. Rinse all the soap off under clean running water. Dry your hands all over for 20 seconds, using a paper towel is best. Gloves are an important tool to help keep you safe. As you would normally, you will need to use gloves anytime you are completing a manual task. Use the right type of gloves for the work you are completing. If you are cleaning surfaces, use disposable gloves and throw them in the bin when you are finished cleaning. Remember to avoid touching your face whilst wearing gloves. Remove your gloves and then wash your hands prior to eating, drinking, smoking or vaping. Practice good hand hygiene and good cough and sneeze etiquette whilst wearing gloves. How to enter your office or site. Our workplaces are now restricted zones, which means that only relevant people are allowed access to our offices and sites. A daily register of workers entering and leaving each site must be completed, along with a health declaration. You will need to sign into every site you visit. Each office and site will have clear signage reminding you of the new basics to help keep everybody safe during COVID-19 Alert Level 3 and 4. Visitors will be restricted during COVID-19 Alert Level 3. This includes deliveries. If entry to site is essential, visitors will need to follow the sign-in procedure. Changes to the way we work. We need to ensure the work we do reduces contact and promotes physical distancing wherever possible. This means that meetings and toolbox talks will need to be held in open environments with plenty of space between each person. The same physical distancing rules apply for lunch areas, kitchens and smoking zones. All office and site environments must have regular cleaning measures in place. You can support this by ensuring the tools, equipment and vehicles you use are regularly cleaned to help stop the spread of the virus. Additional hand washing stations, sanitizer and disinfected cleaning products will be available to help keep your work environment clean. Tracking our movements. Another important change is our focus on tracking the movement of our people. At the request of the government, we need to know where our people are and who they will come into contact with, in case there is a risk of COVID in our workplace. In some cases, people can have the virus without knowing it. You may have been in contact with these people and we will want to let you know so we can help stop the spread. Some of the tools we will use are tracking apps and written records. It is important that you know which tracking tool your team is using. It is also important to know that we will honour your privacy as we always have done with any information we collect, and we'll only use gathered information as per the government requirements. After this video, your manager will discuss how tracking is going to work with you and your team. Leaving site to go home to your bubble. To stop the spread of COVID-19, it is important that when you return home after work, you take all the necessary precautions to ensure that you and everyone in your home bubble are safe. Here are simple guidelines to help. When you return home, try not to touch anything before washing your hands. Remove your shoes and leave them outside. Leave non-essential items at work and disinfect items that you have used at work that you will need to keep with you, like your mobile phone. Wash any clothes in a hot wash cycle to help disinfect them, and have a shower to ensure anything that may have been exposed to the virus is now clean.
That's great. Thanks very much, Derek. Some things might be a bit strange and new as you return to work. Because of all the change, it is natural to feel concerned or worried. You might miss working the way that you used to. You might feel distance from everyone. Don't be afraid to discuss your concerns or feelings with a trusted teammate or your manager. We also have trained mental health first aiders available across the country to support you. Take time to find out who is available in your area so you know who you can talk to. And don't forget, you can call our EAP anytime. So now it's time to check in with your manager to discuss how all of these changes can be put into place or revised in your workplace. Kia kaha everyone, stay safe and well.